Hey everybody, Chuck Barone, Wednesday, August 31st, 2022. Another interesting day for us fans of the markets in this crazy world we're living in, guys. Man, oh man, every day the stuff just gets a little bit crazier. It's almost like, I don't know, if this was a TV show, it probably would be pretty highly rated. You know, it's such a... It just seems like a big fiction. It's hard to believe this is actually the real world we're living in. Bananasville, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, before I start the report, as always, I want to thank everybody for their support, for the videos, for the channel, for me and the guys here. You guys have been super awesome with the way you guys take care of us every day with your likes, your shares, your questions, and your comments, and all the support for the channel. We love every one of you guys. We really appreciate it. In the markets today, another one of those tantrum days for the market where pretty much everything was down today. Stocks down across the board as the stock market still now trying to digest this news on inflation and interest rates. Of course, the Fed had their typical parade of yo-yos out there talking about rates and how they're going to have to keep them high. And they're talking about, well, we'll talk about this a little further, but spooking the market like crazy. Market now starting to believe that the Fed is intentionally going to induce a recession, which we'll talk about a little later too. Not great news for the stock market. Time again, I think if you're in the positions we've talked about earlier, these defensive positions, you're still hanging in there in the market. But some of these tech stocks and the NASDAQ stuff getting smashed. Bond market today also down. The 10-year settling at 3.13%. This is not an interest rate the market, once it gets near 3.10, it seems like when it gets near that rate or above, the market just seems to go down every single day. When the market opened today, it looked like it was going to go up, but then the bond market started selling off, followed by the stock market. We still have that crazy inversion going with the 2-year at 3.48%. Actually was over 3.5 today. The 10-year down here at 3.13%. We got a 35-point spread, or 35 basis point spread. The yield curve looks real perverted. And again, I've never heard anybody make sense to me yet why they would want to buy a 10-year at 3.13 and have their money committed for 10 years for a lower rate when you get just under 3.5 on a 2-year deal. Imagine if you were buying a CD at the bank. You had, if 1,000 or 5,000 or 10,000, whatever number you wanted to put in this CD, and they were telling you that if you bought a 10-year CD, they'd give you 3.13%, but if you bought a 2-year, they'd give you 3.48%. Which one would you take? I mean, this is just confounding to me, but I guess this is what has to happen to signal this recession and get everybody ready for what's coming down. The dollar today down tiny, just 2 basis points, sitting at 108.75 on the dollar index, a super strong number, putting pressure on gold, silver, commodities prices, oil, everything the strong dollar kind of pushes those prices down. So today metals had another down day, with silver or gold at $1,711 per ounce, silver at $18.03 per ounce, coming down a long way. Silver, you guys who are looking to buy more silver, get your money ready because your opportunity is probably going to come. Oil down today as well. They're talking about slackening demand, recession in China, recession all over the world. So oil coming down. $88.90 per barrel for West Texas Intermediate. Natural gas sitting at $9.24 for their million British thermal units. Natural gas is a separate story. I think we're going to see a little bit of a run-up now as Russia turned the gas off to Europe again. So we'll see what happens with natural gas going forward, but I think it's probably a pretty good chance it's going up from here. Bitcoin actually was the only thing today that was up. Up small, couple $100, but enough to get it back above $20,000. That's an important number for Bitcoin, man. They need to keep that. If they can keep support there and consolidate and get ready for another move up, would be a good signal for Bitcoin. I've been saying over the last couple of days that when it went under that 20,000, we're probably going to see 18.5 again. Well, we'll see now. It's back above 20,000. We'll see if we can hold that support. And news you guys need to hear today, the big economic news was this Adp Jobs Report. They're saying that the U.S. economy only produced 132,000 jobs for August, as opposed to 270,000 jobs in July. I guess this is really, there's just so much conflicting stuff coming out, guys. You know, you're reading about all these companies want to do layoffs. Then you're reading at the same time that the jobs market is sizzling and there's 2 openings for every person looking for a job. So this is just more conflicting stuff to confuse the crap out of everybody. The interesting thing is the government actual official report comes out on Friday, and they're expecting 300,000 jobs. So it'll be interesting to see if this report from ADP is the accurate one, or this number that the government is putting forward expecting 300,000 jobs, because that's a pretty big gap between the two of those. An interesting note, though, in this report, they said that people who changed jobs in August, as opposed to staying at the job they had, actually gained more than 16% in income just by changing jobs, while people who stayed on their jobs gained around 7%. So wages are going up, whether you stay at your job or you change jobs. That's the thing we've been talking about with this wage price spiral. That's the thing the Fed's going to be worried about. So I'm sure, even though this jobs numbers came in lower than it was expected, that's going to give the Fed a little bit of relief. Seeing these numbers as far as income goes and how much it's costing employers to keep their employees, going to put some pressure on the Fed to keep bumping rates higher. Now they're talking, they had the parade of Fed yo-yos out there talking about the chairman of the Federal Bank of Cleveland was talking about we're probably going to see the Fed funds rate over 4%, which is a pretty big bump up from where we are now at basically 2.35%. So you'd need another, 1 3/4 point of interest rate increases, 1 3/4 points more to get the funds rate above 4%. And then they're talking about having to keep those rates elevated all the way through 2023 to get this inflation number down. Now, the last time we had inflation, serious inflation, it took them years and years to get rid of it. So I think this might be a little optimistic, but I'm telling you what, if we do see those rates and they're sustained that long, it's going to create havoc in this economy, guys. I mean, number one, the biggest loser of all is going to be the federal government, because these geniuses, they had the chance to finance debt long-term for 30 years at super low rates. They decided that going with shorter-term rates to save a few basis points on the rate made sense to them. So now they're rolling their debt over way sooner than they should be, and these higher rates are going to affect the federal government more than any consumer or state or anybody else. They're the big loser in rate increases, and that's going to hurt. Real estate's already in the crapper. I don't see how bringing rates higher and holding them there is going to be good for real estate unless prices come down pretty dramatically, which we've kind of been calling for since we started this blog. Interesting stuff right now with the Federal Reserve. St. Jerome was out. Now, this is my favorite of the day, guys. Get ready for this. Remember we talked about how the language the Fed's been using has been changing from transitory to peaking to now we're talking, for a long time they were talking about creating a soft landing for the economy. And I was joking around saying that when you hear the word soft landing, picture the Hindenburg exploding, because that's typically what a Fed soft landing looks like. Well, now they've kind of abandoned this whole soft landing language, and now they're going for this new one, which, get this, guys, this is great. I'm going to leave the air quotes here. They're looking for a growth recession. What the hell does that mean? Isn't a recession a decline in growth into negative growth? I mean, these guys come up with this crazy double speak where it's all designed to confuse, it's all designed to mask, it's all designed to deflect, to keep everybody, their brain and what they're thinking about off of what's really important. Bottom line is, the Federal Reserve is going to raise rates as high as they have to create a pretty strong recession, to drive unemployment up, because there's too many openings, there's not enough, they need unemployment higher to tame this wage increase spiral we're starting to see, and to slow the demand down in the economy, where people are going to stop charging on their credit cards and stop borrowing money to keep the sales and the economy moving in this debt consumer economy we've created here for ourselves. And that's what's going to happen. I mean, it's just as simple as that. I don't care what the hell kind of language they want to use, a growth recession, what the hell. They're going to induce this recession to bring down, crash down demand in this economy, to stomp down employment so that this wages, go back to the typical growth they had, which was basically hardly any, from where it is now, where 16% jump to change jobs. That's a pretty big number. So we're going to see how St. Jerome pulls off this next miracle, guys. Because, I call him St. Jerome because the guy works miracles in the bond market every day. I got to see how they're going to pull. They got an ace up their sleeve somewhere or something. I got to see how they're going to pull this off. And more economic news, rents around the country just continuing to skyrocket everywhere. We reported a few days ago on the show about 3.8 million renters are facing eviction in the next 2 months, okay? At the same time, as no one can afford to pay their rents right now, rents continue to keep going up. I think that a lot of that has to do with our new corporate friends who are buying up real estate everywhere around the country. And a lot of it has to do with, because of the imbalance right now where rates are high and home prices are high, even if you have a rent at $2,200, it's less than you would pay to try to buy that place at the prices and rates we're dealing with today. So that's driving rents through the roof. Listen, and here's what's interesting is, now they've stopped talking about rent for 2 bedrooms, right? So now we all know that the average rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in the country is well over $2,000 now, just under $2,100, and continuing to rise. But now they're measuring rents by 1 bedrooms, okay? So they can kind of make it look a little bit lower for everybody. But I mean, who lives in a 1-bedroom? Single people? I mean, this is not a place where husband and wife typically live. They usually have an extra bedroom somewhere. So now, listen to some of these median prices though. A 1-bedroom median average rental now in the United States is just under $1,500 per month at $1,486. That is up over 12% year over year. And some of the numbers in some of these cities around the country for their 1-bedroom apartments, listen to this, guys, it's just Bananasville. In New York City, and that includes not just Manhattan, which is, we all know it's crazy, but the rest of New York City, a 1-bedroom apartment averages $3,930. Just under $4,000 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment. San Francisco, $3,040 per month. San Jose, $2,780 per month. Boston, $2,730 per month. San Diego, $2,580 per month. Miami, $2,520 per month. Los Angeles, $2,450. Washington, $2,370. Oakland, $2,200 per month. And the list just goes on and on and on. These are 1-bedroom apartments, guys. But I don't know how you square these rental numbers with what's happening with regular working people in this country. Millions of people facing eviction. Millions of people can't pay their power bills. They're looking at power being shut off. And I'm telling you right now, guys, it's just, following a logical progression here, you're going to see massive credit card defaults. You're going to see car repos going up like crazy. Here in Las Vegas, my wife just sent me this information. She saw on the news today, 15% of residents in Las Vegas, whether renters or homeowners, are now facing eviction or foreclosure. More than 2% of the houses are already in foreclosure in Vegas. It's friggin' crazy. You know, as you guys know, Vegas has been going up, up, up like the rest of these cities I named. Now it's getting unsustainable, not only here, but all around the country. I got, you know, we're going to get no help from our government here. I really believe that. They just blew their wad in this $500 billion giveaway for student loans. And let me get started on that. I think that it's certainly, instead of narrowly putting you know, that $500 billion for student loans costs more than it costs to mail every taxpayer that relief check. That's bananas to me. In my mind, it certainly would have been more fair for everybody to mail everybody a check again. And if you want to put that $1,400 toward your student loans, knock yourself out. I guarantee no one does, though, right? It's just easier to have the government just erase the loan than actually pay it with money that's in your hands or in your bank. So anyway, these numbers don't jive. I think we're heading for a very, very, very bad time here, guys. What's going to happen with millions of people getting evicted, with millions of people's power being shut off, or even if it's not shut off, because, you know, sometimes like here in Vegas in the summer, they're loath to shut your air conditioning off, just like in Buffalo where I'm from, or, you know, some places up north, they're loath to shut your heat off in the wintertime, but they just pile up these giant bills on you then, right? And that's what's going to happen. These people it's a new debt trap now where even having a power in your house becomes a debt trap. Anyway, guys, the world keeps getting crazier, but we know what we're supposed to be doing. Stashing 10% of our income, investing conservatively, not taking on any new debt, if it's all at all avoidable, paying down the existing debt you have, if that's possible, and just trying to be a thoughtful, more careful person with your money, making sure you're getting the most value you can get for every dollar you spend. If you're doing those things, you're going to be fine through all of this. Try to live within your means, guys, because this storm, you know, even though they're trying to make light of it like it's not really here, is here, and it's going to be an ugly one. Anyway, tomorrow, way more economic data coming out than we had today. We're looking forward to going through that data tomorrow. Hopefully, we're going to get some good news somewhere, someday. But until we talk again tomorrow after the market closes, guys, take care of yourselves. We'll talk then. Thanks.